Good afternoon, everyone. So, we are Group 3. And first of all, I'm going to introduce myself. I am Brigitte Luis Agerswa. And we're going to tackle about the Rizal and the Philippine Revolution in 1896. So, we all know about Rizal's revolution, di ba? There are few arguments and opinions about his revolution. So, ano daw sila sa una daw, according to my research in history, ana daw sila sa una is, di daw ganahan si Rizal nga makipagbakbakan sa mga Espanya gamit ang mga armas daw, like mga armasado. Dili ganahan si Rizal nga ang mga Pilipino is makipagbakbakan sa Espanya gamit ang mga armas. Ang ganahan ni Rizal is ma-educate niya ang mga Filipino sa una para ang mga Filipino makamata sa kamotuoran ug makabaw kung unsay nahitabo sa atong lipunan sa una sa pagsakop sa Espanya sa una. So there are a few credits nga or mga hula na nagsabi na tungkol kay Rizal na batay na mas maaasahan na pinagmulan at impormasyon na may lumitaw na di kailangan na paghahati daw sa una, which is ang ilustrados and masas. So kabaw naman gitaon sa ng mga ilustrado, di ba? Kato man ng mga educated nga Filipino, which is nakaskwela sila sa una. While ang mga masses is uneducated Filipino. So, uneducated Filipino, wala sila kaskwela sa una, which is diri na nahimo ang Rizal, kontra-reforma at revolusyon. So, diri na nagsagol-sagol ang ilahang pananaw ni Rizal ug ni Andres Bonifacio sa una. Kay di ba ang ganahan ni Rizal is ang ganahan ni Rizal ma-educate niya ang mga Filipino para makamata sila kung unsay nahitabo sa lipunan nato, sa lipunan sa Pilipinas sa panahon sa pagsakop sa Espanya sa una. While ang ganahan naman ni Andres Bonifacio is makipagbakbakan sa Espanya para sa kalayaan sa Pilipinas sa una. Mao na ang ganahan ni Andres Bonifacio, which is nagkontra gyud ang pananaw ni Rizal, ang pananaw nila Rizal ug ni Bonifacio. So we all know si Andres Bonifacio is ni join siya La Liga Filipina, which is ang head ato is si Rizal, di ba? Ang naghimo ato nga organisasyon si Rizal, which is kanang nag-idolo na gay siya ni Rizal sa una gay panahon katong ni appeal siya sa La Liga Filipina. Nya usapod kay nagbasa-basa siya sa mga nobela ni Rizal sa una. So ang ganahan ni Andres Bonifacio sa una kay ganahan gyud siya nga makipagbakbakan siya sa mga Pilipino. Makibakbakan ang mga Pilipino sa mga Espanya, which is kanang lahi sila pananaw ni Rizal. Kaya ang ganahan ni Rizal is ma-educate ang mga Pilipino. Well, ang ganahan ni Bonifacio is makibakbakan gamit ang mga armas para sa kalayaan ng Pilipinas. So that's all for the revolution, the Rizal Philippine Revolution, the Rizal Philippine Revolution in 1896. So that's all. So the next topic is all about Rizal's. So the next topic is all about Rizal separatist stance. So Herdia and Garcia will going to discuss that part. That's all. Thank you.
So, good day everyone. Today I'm going to tackle about the Rizal separatist stance. So, Rizal separatist stance is all about his growing belief that the Philippines should eventually become free and independent from Spanish rule. So, at first, Jose Rizal only wanted peaceful reforms, equal rights, and justice, education for Filipinos while being under Spain. But as but as he saw more operation and abuse from the Spaniards, he realized that true change could only happen if Filipinos were no longer controlled by them. Even though kanang wala siya nag-support sa kanang violent revolution, iyang mga suwat or iyang mga novels like No Limitang Here and El Filibusterismo inspired Filipinos to unite, fight for dignity, and build their own nation. So in short, Rizal's separatist stance is about his belief and the Filipinos' right to freedom, independence, and self-rule through education and national unity.
So, to sum up everything, this section delves into the debate surrounding Rizal's attitudes towards revolution. It contrasts the views of historians like Renato Constantino, who portrayed Rizal as anti-revolutionary, with arguments suggesting Rizal held separate views and envisioned Philippine independence. The section emphasizes analyzing Rizal's writings and actions to understand his true stance, describing him as a reluctant revolutionary rather than an opponent of the revolution. It also covers factors that comprise Rizal's radical separatist stance as argued by Royataya.
So, good afternoon, everyone, especially to you, Miss Dan. So, my topic for today is all about a letter to Blumentritt, 21, 1887. Rizal was discusses his ongoing writing of El Filibusterismo, his progress on translating books, and his involvement in various scholarly societies in Berlin, as well as mentions his plans to travel with Maximo Viola to cities like Dresden and Vienna. So the sender of this letter was Dr. Rizal, and the recipient is Ferdinand Blumentritt, and the date where the letter sent it is on February 21, 1887 in Berlin, Germany. So Blumentritt means a person who never met Rizal in person but maintained or decades-long correspondence, which is Maonisi Ferdinand Blumentritt. And also, Ferdinand Blumentritt is Rizal's most trusted European friend, confidant, and supporter. So in this letter, he reports being busy with his clinic and clinical investigation, and also the letter confirms that Rizal's commitment to his scholarly pursuits and his continued literary work. So that's all my topic about the letter of Blumentritt, 21, 1887. By the way, kuan siya ng gisend ni nga letter is on February 21, 1887 based na sa akong research. Thank you.
Let's talk about the Calamba Hacienda case. So, the Calamba Hacienda case happened in Calamba, Laguna. During the time of Spaniards, the Calamba or the land in Calamba was owned by Dominican friars or the Spanish priests. The Filipino farmers, including the family of Dr. Jose Rizal, work on the land and paid rent. After some years, the friars made the rent higher, even though the farmers is already poor. The farmers complained and asked the government to check if the land really belonged to the friars. Rizal helped them by writing and report to tell the truth. But the Spanish government supported the friars, not the farmers. The court said that the farmers must leave the land. In 1890, many people in Calamba, including the Rizal families, were forced to leave the land or their homes. This case showed the unfair treatment of Filipino under the Spanish rule. It also inspired Rizal to fight for justice and freedom for the Filipino people through his writing, and that's all.
Manifestation of 1888. On March 1, 1888, 28 local leaders of Governazilos in Manila asked the civil governor to remove the abuses fair in the Philippines. Their petition was ignored, and they were in person instead. When Rizal heard about this, he told his friend Burmate that Filipino has lost hope in Spain and had to defend themselves and God, not in the government. So, 28 ka-local leaders ang nireklamo sa ilang civil governor na ipatangtang mga abuses government, mga abusado nga government. But, instead nga paminawon sila, gipaprisunon sila. Karon pagkaibaw ni Rizal nga inananay tabo, iyang gingnan niyang friend nga ingno na lang ang Pilipino nga musalig na lang sa Ginoo ug silang kaugalingon, dili na lang sa governor or sa government.
So, during the Spanish colonial period in the Philippines, many Filipinos reformers called propagandists spoke out against of abuse and injustice of the Spanish Tths. Those reformers wanted change in the government and equal rights of the Filipino. So, in short, the arrest of anti-fair propagandists means the Spanish government posed Filipinos who opposed the abuses of the fears, showing how difficult it was to fight for reform and independence during that time.
The arrest of Rizal's relatives and persecution of Rizal's family, with his brother-in-law Manuel Hidalgo deported in Bohol, and their house in Calambad was demolished. Rizal's parents and sister exiled in different parts of archipelago, so Rizal immortalized such gruesome memory in chapter 10 of his El Filibusterismo. All this made him realize that the best solution to combat the Spanish was to return to the Philippines. In a letter of Mariano Ponce, he said that, "I am thinking of returning as soon as possible, and let God say what is to happen. If one must die, let one die, and at least in his country, for his country in the name of his country." So that was the letter that Mariano Ponce said, and such was Rizal's clear inclination and openness to drastic measures in the face of despondent condition in the Philippines. So the Rizal's family faced systematic harassment and arrest due to Jose Rizal activism. So, Rizal's brother Pasiano Rizal was arrested and tortured in 1896 to extract information about his involvement in the revolution. And Rizal's activism that included his novels No Limitangre and El Filibusterismo exposed prior abuses, while his family suffering became a symbol of colonial injustice.
Let's talk about the reluctant revolution. So, Dr. Jose Rizal was the called reluctant revolutionary because he did not believe in using violence to fight against Spain. He wanted freedom.
Okay, now let's have the Rizal's opponent in the Philippines Revolution as reported by Dr. Pio Valenzuela. So in Rizal's revolution in the Philippines, it was uncautious and opposed to a premature uprising. So when Valenzuela visited Rizal and Dapitan in June 1896 to inform him about the Katipunan and recognized that Spain was weakened by the Cuban Revolution, making it potentially good time to act. Okay, however, Rizal strongly objected to starting the revolution without proper preparation or adequate preparation and norms, warning that a premature revolt would be a veritable suicide and would lead to unnecessary suffering among Filipinos. So because they were not yet equipped to fight the armed Spanish. So Rizal emphasized the need for careful planning and suggested nga ang Katipunan daw should first secure support from wealthy and influential Filipino in Manila to strengthen their cause. Rizal also recommended nga si Antonio Luna, military expert na siya, nga to be put in charge of the revolution's military operation to increase the chance nga ma-success ilahang plan. So overall summary, kay Rizal was not against the idea of revolution itself, but was firmly against the launching it prematurely without proper armament and strategy. So Rizal feared that an unprepared revolt would lead to a disastrous defeat and unnecessary loss of Filipinos' lives.
Rizal Manifesto before his execution. So before Jose Rizal was executed in December 15, 1896, while imprisoned in Fort Santiago, he wrote a letter called Manifesto to certain Filipinos. In this writing, Rizal said that he did not join the revolution because he believed that violence was not the right way to achieve freedom. He wanted Filipinos to learn first, be united, and improve themselves through education and good behavior. His manifesto shows his deep love for the Philippines and his hope for peace and progress in the country.
So hello everyone, I am Chunalyn PRB2. So I am the one who will discuss the summary of Rizal's rule and revolutionist. So we all know that Jose Rizal is a Filipino nationalist and reform advocate. So Jose Rizal in 1861 to 1896 was a Filipino nationalist, writer, and polymath. So Jose Rizal is considered as a national hero of the Philippines, right? So he advocated a political reform in the Philippines during the Spanish colonial period. Let's have the Rizal's works and ideals. So Rizal's novel, which is The No Limitare in 1887 and El Filibusterismo in 1891, exposed the corruption and injustice of Spanish colonial rules, inspiring a movement for independence. His ideals includes the anti-imperialism, anti-colonialism, and anti-feudalism. So his ideals includes anti-imperialism, anti-colonialism, and anti-feudalism. So what are those, Day? So sila ang mga movement and ideals ni Jose Rizal. So anti-imperialism, it is a opposition sa duha, which is ang katong colonial, anti-colonialism, and anti-feudalism. So ang anti-imperialism, it is political principle often seen in an independence movement. So ang anti-colonialism, it is a political and cultural movement that challenges colonial rules and system of oppression. So anti-feudalism, it is a feudal system or opposition siya sa feudal system. Feudalism was a European political system in which the propaganda movement. So Rizal was a key member of propaganda movement which sought reforms through peaceful means. Although he called for reforms within the Spanish colonial system rather than complete independence, his writings and activism awakened Filipinos to the realities of their situation and inspired them to fight for their rights and freedom. So the legacy of Rizal's life and works remain an integral part of Philippine history and culture, symbolizing the fight for independence and inspiring Filipinos to pursue justice and freedom.